Hello, everybody, and welcome to Principles of Marketing here at Tennessee Tech. My name is Matthew Harrison, and I will be your instructor for this semester. This, of course, is the 100% online section of Principles of Marketing. So, if you are not sure that you were in an online class, this is the 100% online section, meaning that we do not have any face-to-face meetings throughout the semester. However, one thing that I do to try to facilitate sort of an in-person feel or vibe for the course is I do make weekly YouTube video lectures, sort of like this one. So today, the goal of this video sort of is just to introduce you to our course, hopefully answer any questions that you may have about the course on the front end here, and sort of explain the syllabus and just grading procedures and that kind of thing. So hopefully I'll answer most of your questions today, but in the event that you do have any questions about the course or, as the semester progresses, if you have questions about an assignment, you can always reach out to me pretty much anytime via email. My email address is listed here. It's mtharrison@tntech.edu. I do prefer that you use this email rather than our iLearn email, just because it is a lot easier for me to get back to you here immediately. This email comes to my phone, so I get a notification just like a text message every time you send an email, and I can reply back to you very quickly. Um, I would allot at least 48 hours for a response. That being said, it rarely ever takes me that long. I usually respond in the same day, but occasionally, certain times of the semester will get really busy, and so I always just tell students, it may be up to 48 hours, but usually the same day I try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Um, that being said, this is an introductory marketing course, so we will cover a lot of information this semester. And that being said, if you find that you're very interested in a certain topic, like a lot of students today really enjoy consumer behavior and social and mobile marketing. So if those are topics that you really enjoy, you can take an entire course on just consumer behavior or an entire course on just social and mobile marketing, which are two areas that I studied pretty extensively in grad school. So that being said, this course is very introductory, very basic. We will cover a lot of information in a very short period of time. So it's just kind of designed to give you an introduction to marketing. If you are a business student here at Tech, everyone is required to take Principles of Marketing. Then I know that others of you may just be marketing majors or marketing minors. Others of you may just be trying to decide on a minor or major. So this would be a good way to sort of introduce you to the world that is marketing. That being said, this is the textbook that we're going to be using for our course. It has the granola bars here on the front. Now, this is the 7th edition of the book. I do allow you also to purchase the 6th edition instead. The difference is that I've been using Gruhl and Levy's marketing books here forever, ever since they had like a first edition, and they're just wonderful. They have great examples. They're very well written, very in touch with the real world. They're just wonderful, great reads. But they don't change a whole lot from one edition to the next. Some examples and stuff like that will change, but the general content doesn't change all that much. So if you want to purchase the 6th edition instead of the 7th, you're totally welcome to do that. The 6th edition is renting right now on Chegg and Amazon for around $20, $25, whereas the 7th edition you're going to pay several $100s for in the bookstore. So this is a good, if you're looking to save a little money, get the 6th edition. You can purchase an ebook or an actual copy of the book. I know some students like ebooks and others would rather have a paper book to actually write in and take notes on. So totally up to you, whatever floats your boat, but please make sure you have the book. As far as the grading structure this semester goes, this is how your grade is going to be calculated. And I'm going to talk about each one of these areas in detail in just a moment, but just to sort of give you an introduction as to how the course works. I try to kind of get you in a routine of what to do each week. That way it's pretty easy to stay involved and up to date and not get behind. Basically, each week you're going to have either 1 or 2 chapters to read. Usually only 1, though there are some weeks where you have 2. And there's a course schedule at the very end of the syllabus which has every week exactly what you're going to be doing, so you can work ahead and sort of pace yourself. If you know you're going to have a busy week, you can go ahead and work on to the next week, or so on and so forth. But basically, every week you're going to read at least one chapter. And then I have a YouTube video lecture for that chapter that you can watch and sort of reinforce what you've already read, make sure you hit all the important highlights, didn't miss anything important. So after you've read the chapter yourself and watched the YouTube video, I also created a Quizlet for you so you can practice going through and studying the content before you have to advance in your learning. And after you've done all of that, after you've read the chapter, watched the YouTube video, and studied with the Quizlet, you can go ahead and take your quiz for that chapter. Now, the quizzes are cumulative, so our first week we're going to be studying chapters 1 and 5. After that, we'll go on to chapter 4 in week number 2. And when you take that chapter 4 quiz in week number 2, it will cover not only content from chapter 4, but also content from chapters 1 and 5. And then in week 3, whenever we begin chapter 6, that chapter 6 quiz will cover content not only from chapter 6, but also the content from chapters 1, 5, and 4 from the previous weeks. So that's designed to sort of help you develop mastery with these concepts that we're learning and make sure that they stick. And also to prepare you for our final exam, which will take place during the very last week of the course. The final exam is a departmental exam given by all marketing faculty at Tennessee Tech. So it's not an exam that I personally create. So it is something that I do want to make sure you're very prepared for. And for those of you guys who are reading the chapter, taking the quizzes, doing your assignments each week, generally is not a problem, but it is something that I want to prepare you for. So we talked about the quizzes in the final. This is how your grade will be determined. You can see the grading scale here. I do accept late work, but especially since you have the ability to work ahead and everything is pretty clearly outlined on the front end, I do subtract 10 points per day for each late assignment. So basically all of your assignments will open and I will send out an announcement email for you every Sunday night so you'll kind of know what to do for the whole week. Your assignments officially open on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. and everything is due by the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So you sort of have that whole 1 week window there to get everything completed. Like I said, it is 10 points per day late. So if you turn something in, after 11:59, the day it's due, then of course you would receive 10 points subtracted. If you turn it in 3 days late, you'll lose 30 points. And then after 10 days, it's no longer possible to turn in any missing work. So please keep that in mind as you're completing your assignments each week. As far as your marketing application responses, case studies, and discussion boards go, all of these are varied in what I'm asking you to do each week, but as far as what you are physically turning in, a lot of the formatting is the same, which kind of helps you stay organized, hopefully. Basically, for all of your assignments, you're obviously going to answer the question. Hard to believe, right? You're going to answer the question in as much detail as possible. After you've done that, I would like for you to incorporate 2 key terms from your textbook. At the end of every chapter, it'll have a list of key terms from that chapter. I'd like to see you incorporating at least 2 of those into your write-up each week. I also require, well, technically, our department also requires that you include 2 external sources every week. And those external sources have to come from a scholarly source. So the YouTube videos do not count as an external source. Our textbook does not count as an external source because those things are internal to our course. External sources are things that will come from the library database or maybe from Google Scholar, some type of scholarly peer-reviewed journal article, okay? So in summary, all of your assignments, you're going to answer the question, you're going to include 2 key terms from whatever chapter we're studying that week, and you're going to include 2 external sources that you have cited using APA format that in some way substantiate the claims that you're trying to make in your write-up for the week. Okay? For marketing application responses and case studies, you're going to upload both of those documents as a PDF file to a Dropbox. And in my announcement email that I send out, I always hyperlink the Dropbox. You can easily click on it. But if you need help finding the Dropbox, in our iLearn course, you can go here to the top to Assessments and then click on Assignments. And from there, it will show you all of the various drop boxes. You can just click on the drop box that applies to us for that week and submit your file there. For whatever reason, every time I make a YouTube video, my Wi-Fi wants to just totally become really slow. Anyway, when it loads, that's where you're going to click and turn those files in. Now, a lot of people wonder, well, why do I have to turn it in as a PDF? So I ask that you do that, number one, because a PDF is sort of a universal document that regardless of the type of program you're using, everyone can see it. So, and of course, my Wi-Fi is really not being great. Whether you're using Microsoft Word or you're using Pages or you're using Google Docs or SharePoint from your tech account, whatever it may be, a PDF is easily opened by everyone. And iLearn does not require you to download the PDF to your computer, whereas with a Word document, you do have to download each individual file. And with there being like several hundred of you guys and only one of me, it takes quite a while to download all of those files each week. So please make sure that you're submitting those documents as a PDF if at all possible. Okay, for a discussion board, you're doing the same thing you did for the case studies and the marketing application responses. You are answering the question or questions, whichever it may be. You're including 2 chapter concepts or key terms, 2 external sources from a scholarly source, and you're uploading your file as a PDF to the discussion board. Once you've done that, I'd also like for you to go through and read all of your classmates' responses and reply to your classmates. So I would ask that you try to get your discussions up as early in the week as possible. Wednesday at 11:59 is a good rule of thumb to kind of plan on having your initial post up by that time. That gives you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to read all the replies from your peers and respond to at least 2 of them in a meaningful way. So that sort of helps facilitate a discussion in our course since we don't actually have any in-person meetings in any way. So please make sure you do that. I know that for everyone, it's not always possible to get everything up by Wednesday. I know a lot of you guys have jobs and you're doing other things that keep you very busy. So if for whatever reason, it's not possible for you to get your discussion up by Wednesday, that is totally not a problem. Just get it in as soon as you can, and please make sure that you still make your replies to classmates. But if you can get it in a little sooner, that is very, very helpful. And for whatever reason here, my Wi-Fi is being slow. I did want to show you those drop boxes, so I'm going to attempt to turn on my hotspot here. We'll give that just a second. Okay, so we've talked about our discussion boards. We talked about the final exam. This page kind of gives you a summary of our grading for the semester. And I've mentioned all this already, but just to reiterate, remember everything needs to be uploaded as a PDF. I do have a tutorial for how to save a document as a PDF. If you don't know how to do that, I'll show you that in just a moment. Make sure you're including those 2 key terms, those 2 external sources, and that you're submitting it as a PDF. As I said before, if you want to know how to turn something in, you can go to Assignments, Assessments, and Assignments here. And you see all of the drop boxes for your assignments this semester. You can just click on it and submit it that way. To get to the discussions, you'll just click on Assessments and Discussions. From our course, if you click on Course Materials and Content, you can see a nice little summary here of everything we've discussed. So here are your syllabi. Down here, you can see information on APA formatting. So I've given you a sample APA format paper. If you've never used APA before, this will give you a good guideline. I've given you some links to some scholarly sources that students like to use. Of course, you have the Library Databases website to use as well. There's a cheat sheet here for APA formatting too, just to guide you. And oh my gosh, if you have never used the Purdue OWL, it will change your life, okay? Regardless of what kind of formatting you're doing, whether it's MLA or APA, Chicago, for whatever class you're using, the Purdue OWL it's just wonderful in helping you cite pretty much anything you might possibly need to cite. Now, a lot of people get confused on like what you kind of have to include. So I created a template here that should help you as you're doing all of your assignments. Now, I want to go on record for saying you do not have to use this template. Okay, it's completely optional. As long as you have answered the questions, you have your 2 key terms from the book and your 2 external sources, you're going to get credit for those things. No points will be subtracted for that. Now, some people just have trouble envisioning how that works. So I created this template. You can include your name, the title of whatever submission, so Chapter 4, Marketing Application Response, Chapter 6, Discussion Board, whatever. Include the date. There's a spot here for your key term, which is underlined, and then your sources go at the end. Here's an example of what that template looks like in completed form. You can see she titled it Discussion Board for the Place P of the Marketing Mix. She included the date. She has her key term here underlined. She threw the page number in. You don't have to do that. She just was very good. So you have your key term there, key term here. This was question 1, that was question 2. That's why they're numbered. So here she's answered question 1. She included not only this key term, but several others that she's underlined. She's included a scholarly source here, and she has her parenthetical citations citing that. Same thing here, she's answered the second question. She's underlined her external sources, underlined her key terms, included her external source over here with parenthetical citations. And then at the end, she cited them using APA formatting. Some people don't like the template and choose to do their own thing. This student here has just fully answered the question. She included her concept. She's underlined her key terms every time she used them. She included her parentheticals here. You can see she really went above and beyond, really answering all of the questions. This was obviously an A paper. She cited her references at the end. Another student here did a very similar thing, including her key term, answering the questions. In parentheses here, she has her parentheticals, above and beyond again, and answering the question here. And then she has her references at the end using APA format. So she also cited her textbook because she used that as a source. So all that is here for you in the under course materials and content, under general course information. You'll find all of this here: the syllabus, the submission template with examples of A papers, how to do APA formatting, and then lastly, there's a link here for how to save a document as a PDF if you need assistance in doing that. You can see here, there's a module for every week. So week 1 is here, week 2 is there. We'll talk about those in just a moment. You do have the ability to work ahead, so you can go and work as far in advance as you'd like. With the exception of the final, you do have to wait and do that at the end. Regarding academic integrity, I am pretty sensitive to this issue, especially with this being an online course. So please make sure that you are doing your own work. Make sure you are citing things correctly and not plagiarizing anything. Enough said there. If you have any kind of disability and you need an accommodation, please let me know. I'll be glad to do whatever I can to accommodate you in any way. We talked about most of this. People always ask me, well, Professor Harrison, how long should I plan to devote to this class? And I hate giving a numerical answer to that question just because it's so different for everyone. I don't want you to say, well, he said this many hours, but so I try to sort of give you just a general rule of thumb. So I recommend somewhere between 8 and 10 hours per week of your time to be devoted to principles of marketing. And now that's a pretty all-inclusive time frame. That includes time to read the chapter or chapters, time to watch the YouTube video or videos, time to review the Quizlet and study with that, time to do your quizzes, and time to do your written assignments. So that's everything, 8 to 10 hours. Now, some students learn more quickly than others. So I've had some students say, well, hey, I was able to get it done in 5 hours. And others tell me, oh my gosh, it took me 15. So it just really depends on you as a student and what works best for you. But I think 8 to 10 is a general rule of thumb as to how long it may take you there. Please make sure that you are logging into iLearn pretty frequently, a couple times a week. Like I said, I will send out all of your announcements via email, so you'll have that. I'll also post them on the announcements screen on iLearn. But please make sure that you are reading those announcements, that you're checking your email. I will send all of your announcements to your Tennessee Tech email. So if you don't already have your email on your cell phone, please, please, please go ahead and put it on your phone. That way you'll immediately get an email every time I send something about the class. And if not, if you're not an email person, then like I said, the announcements will be on iLearn every Sunday night as well, so you can check those out. Please take the time to read the feedback that I leave for you guys. I do genuinely read every word of your submission, and I write you guys individual feedback and leave that for you. So please take the time to read that feedback and use it to improve each week. If you go over here under the grade screen, you're going to be able to see your grade every week. You'll usually get a notification here at the little bell when something has been graded as well, but it'll show you your grade and it will show you the feedback that I've left for you. So please make sure you take the time to read that. Regarding the announcements, when you initially log into our course, you'll be able to see the announcements here. There aren't any here yet, but I will be posting those soon for your first week of class, and just some other general helpful information about finding scholarly sources and that stuff. You'll find all of those here. And like I said, they'll be emailed to you as well. I've included the IT office's number and email here. Now, guys, I've already sort of told you how many hours you should expect to devote to the class. Please make sure that you are starting your assignments far enough in advance to avoid having any technical trouble. Okay, if you do have a problem, the IT office's phone number and email are here, but they're only open during normal business hours for tech. So that means if it's 9 o'clock on Sunday night and you're trying to submit something, they're not going to be able to help you. So I recommend starting your assignments early in the week and having that whole week to sort of work on those. Okay, here's our course calendar, so you can see everything for the entire semester you're going to have to do all the way to the end. Now, being the OCD student that I was, I would go through and put the date every single assignment was due and have it set as a calendar reminder on my phone so it would pop up and tell me, and I would never miss an assignment, right? So I recommend doing that. If you're an organized person, you may do that automatically, but put these on a calendar somewhere, make sure you know when everything's going to do, print this out, post it on your wall, whatever. Keep up with it. You can see for this first week, your job is to read the syllabus, which we've kind of gone through here together in this video. Familiarize yourself with our course and order your textbook. I did send an email out earlier, right after the fall semester ended, with the textbook we'll be using for the class. So hopefully a lot of you guys already have that and can go ahead and get started. That was my goal. You do have a quiz on the syllabus as well, just asking you some general like true, false, and multiple choice questions about what we've discussed, just to make sure that you fully understand the procedures and everything for our course. So please take a moment to complete that. There's also a pre-test, and this is just for me to see what you know about marketing. This is a completion grade. Okay, so if you do it, you're going to get 100. If you don't do it, you're going to get a 0. Just for me to see what you already know about marketing coming into the course. Some people take marketing in high school, others do not. So, it's different for everyone. Now, that being said, do not freak out when iLearn automatically grades this for you. So it will give you a grade, meaning if you take it and you get a 23, it's going to give you a 23 and it will put that 23 in the gradebook. Do not freak out. At the end of the week, once everybody has had a chance to do the pretest, I will go in and manually enter a 100 for everyone who completed it and a 0 for everyone who didn't. And then I'll kind of look at your progress and see what you already know, what you don't know, and sort of tailor the rest of the class to that. So do not freak out if you see a grade for that initially. That will be changed. Okay, take some time to introduce yourself in our introductory discussion board. I think I asked 5 or 6 questions there, everything from your name to your grade level, what are you studying, what's your major, those kind of questions. Do you have a job? If so, where do you work? Just some general get to know you questions. You can feel free to share anything you'd like there, animal pictures, whatever you'd like, just for us to get to know each other. Once you've done that kind of introductory stuff, go ahead and read chapters 1 and 5 in our book. Watch the chapters 1 and 5 video lectures and study using those Quizlets. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and take our quizzes for chapters 1 and 5, And you have your first written assignment due on Sunday, January 26th at 11:59 p.m. You need to have your chapters 1 and 5 discussion board submitted. There will be 2 questions asked about that prompt. You'll just need to make sure you answer the questions using at least 2 key terms from our chapter. You can do 2 from chapter 1, 2 from chapter 5, or 1 from chapter 1 and 1 from chapter 5, whatever floats your boat. And then include 2 external sources. Save that as a PDF and submit it to our discussion board. Take some time to read your classmates' post and get those submitted. Okay, that's what we're doing for week 1. If you finish that and want to go ahead and work ahead, week 2 is down here. You can go ahead and see what you're doing for that all the way through the end of the class and have that to plan. So hopefully I've answered most of your questions here. We've talked about content. We talked about where you submit your things. Talked about where you see your grades. And you have your course calendar here. So I think I've covered, hopefully, a lot of questions you may have about the class. If at any point you have more questions, feel free to drop me an email here. Please make sure to use the tech email and not the iLearn email. Okay? mtharrison@tntech.edu. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day, guys. Thank you. Take care.